Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, where we carry the largest selection of wood flowers in the United States. Welcome back to another tutorial, and today we are going to get comfy and cozy as we transition from Christmas to Valentine's Day. It's just a month away, so let's jump into this. Alright you guys, before we start the tutorial, remember, if you're loving this channel, can't get enough, want to know the next time we post a video, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to find out about the 150 plus style wood flowers we carry, as well as craft supplies and greenery. Go to ohyourlovely.com, but before you do, take this code along for your next time visiting the site. Use the code YouTube30 to get 30% off one regular priced order. Today's tutorial, there's this fun weirdness that happens between Christmas or the winter holidays, whatever you partake in or don't, but the end of the year to the beginning of the next year until we get to about February, Valentine's Day. And then we start going back into the different seasonal holidays and things when it comes to decorating. And I like to switch my wreath from a very Christmassy wreath to a transitional winter wreath. And I have a little idea in my head I want to make using a mixture of both artificial and preserved dried fillers, a little bit more organic kind of vibe, minimal colors, but still gives this warm, comfy, cozy vibe. That is what we are trying to achieve. So let's see if we can do that today. We're gonna do a couple different fun things. We're gonna make our own wreath form as well from some stuff I found at the thrift store. So I hope that sounds entertaining and fun and maybe educational. And if it is, come and join me. First up, let's go over all of the materials you're gonna need. First things first, you're going to need something to make your wreath form or already a pre-made wreath form. So I found this at the dollar store. I believe you can also find this at various craft stores. It's basically grapevine that has a metal wire in there so that you can shape it to the form you want. I've already cut some off of this lovely little wrap that I have, so we're gonna turn this into our wreath form itself. I wanted, again, that more natural kind of vibe, so I don't want any greenery or anything on this. We're just gonna leave it as is. Speaking of greenery, let's break down what greenery we're gonna be using. It's a lot of bits and bobs, as we say around these parts. So the first bits and bobs, this is gonna be our main kind of base starting greenery. This was a piece of a garland I had in my stash. Cut it to the size that I want. It has these nice little berries. Now this does have a little bit more of a yellow undertone, but the darker parts of the leaves give a little bit more blue undertones, which is great because the rest of the greenery that we're using has a little bit more, it's actually a mix now that I'm looking at everything. We've got a decent mix of the blue undertones and the yellow undertones, so everything's gonna play together really well. Oops, I just dropped something. We'll grab it in a second. The next piece of greenery we're gonna be using is the olive branch. So we've got 3 stems off of this stem. There's actually usually 4, but I've already cut one off. So we're going to bring those in. We also, for the first of our preserved, we have the willow eucalyptus. Now this already has a really pretty bend to it naturally on its own, so we're gonna be using that with that in mind. So the places we're gonna be putting this is so that it goes in the flow of the wreath, the direction we want it to go. Next up, we've got both the vintage lilac and the cream Astilbe. We'll be using those, just kind of peeking throughout for a little bit of pop of color. And then we have this particular greenery was last spring. I don't know that we'll have it this year at ohyourlovely.com. Definitely more of a yellow tone, but I just want 2 little tufts of it at the top and the bottom of my wreath. So that's all I need for that. Then we've got this artificial piece that kind of gives a little bit of a bleach ruscus kind of vibe to it. We'll have that sprinkled, or even a pampas grass. We're gonna have that sprinkled in as well. 2 more pieces. Then we've got These had leaves on them. I've taken all of the leaves off, again, just for little pops of texture and color. Again, we're going with a very neutral color palette. And let me go grab the thing that fell off the other side of the table. I'll be right back. And bunny tails to top it all off, to bring in that natural material in there. So there we go. That is all, just a few pieces. That's the greenery we're gonna be using for this wreath. Now onto the flowers. The flowers used today in this tutorial, we have, these are already dyed. This is Charlotte. Then we have Cleo. Luna. These two are very similar, so I'm gonna put them together. Thelma. And this is Louise. This one is already dyed. We have a Miss Ivy dyed in a brown color. We have Dazzle, which has been dyed two-toned. And then finally, we have a couple little arties. That is all of the flowers that we're using for today's tutorial. Like I said, a very muted color story, but I feel like a very good transitional color story with all of the other colors that we have. So let's dive in and let's start making our wreath. So the first thing that we're gonna do is tighten up those seams. I'm using bind wire. Now you can use all sorts of different things. This is what I have on hand, and it's really easy to work with. It also, because it's super flexible, but with the paper wrapping, it's really strong. So you can pull pretty dang tight and get a nice finish to this, and nothing's gonna get loose or come undone. I'm gonna tighten that up. And then to cover that, you have lots of different options. If you want, you're just going to, once the greenery starts getting put on there, that's going to cover that part. But what I'm gonna do instead is to grab some ribbon. And this is gonna be kind of close to my bottom then of my, let's move that. That's gonna be the bottom of my wreath. It's my thought process on that. I wish I had some really pretty like silk ribbon, but I don't right now. So this is as good as it's gonna get for my ribbon for right now. But 2020, where are we at? 2024, the year of me starting to build a stash of really pretty ribbon. That sounds like a good plan. I made this super long because I don't really know how long I want it to be. And I always figure I can always cut off ribbon, but it's really hard to add more on. And I want first, I think, to just tie this up. And I want to create a big, big loopy bow. The loopy bow has been created. Now I know this is my bottom, that's the top, and I think we're going to leave some, here, we're gonna flip it this way though. I think then what we'll do, because I was noticing a lot of that wire was peeking through, we're gonna leave this part, like right around here, open. The rest is going to be the greenery. So first thing, we're gonna attach the start of our base. And I'm going to also have those little tufts I wanted at the ends of this. But I'm thinking also I may want the, I think I want the olive branches to also stick out further yet. Yeah. Okay, so just seeing if I, yes, okay, great, perfect. We're gonna snip some of this off right away. Okay, so to attach this, I am going to use some of the things that are already available to me from the piece. So this is a wire that's still available. I'm gonna use that. And then this side, I'm going to dig the other part of it into the wreath. So that's already set. You can start, because this is all wired up and held together in a nice little bundle, you're also able to kind of stick things into the grapevine if you choose to do so. Now this part is going this direction. Typically what you would want is for one, and that's what I'm actually gonna do. Typically you would want it to flip to the other side so that there's a finish to that. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm also going to fluff this a little bit, I'm noticing. And this one is really loose, so we're going to grab some paddle wire, or not paddle wire, some bind wire again, and we're going to attach this just a little bit tighter onto here. Next up, we'll use the preserved. Now again, this has its own, like, some of the pieces have a very distinct, like, arching vibe to it. So we're gonna let it do what it naturally wants to do and fill it into the piece that way. When we're working with preserved, the stems can be a little bit more fragile, so be mindful of that when you're putting them in place. It's coming together. A lot of texture in this one. A lot of lovely, lovely texture. All right, I think we're only gonna do 3 of these. Let's see. Kind of look like little snowballs to me. Still gives off like that winter feeling without being overly winter. Now this one, we've kind of got a press down spot there. So this one in particular, I wired up onto a wire that wasn't from it originally. But I think then what I can do is then bring this upright once I get it into the wreath, or I can trim down but then that can sit up. Now we have less of a divot right there, which we don't really want. Okay, bunny tails I'm gonna add in last. I don't know why, but that's the flow I like. So it's time for flowers. And there she is, the lovely transition from winter to Valentine's Day. Wreath is complete. Oh, you know what I just forgot? You guys, we never added in the bunny tails. It's not complete. Hold up, let's add some bunny tails, shall we? Fun fact though, when it comes to the bunny tails, I can't add these to my projects that my cats can get a hold of. So like centerpieces and things, I can't put bunny tails in them. Otherwise my cats attack the centerpieces and try to steal the bunny tails. I don't know if I'm alone in that. I have a feeling I'm not, but cat owner beware if you're gonna use bunny tails in projects. They really do get a kick out of them. Now I'm just putting 1 or 2, 3 at a time, 4, but I'm following the flow. So this one's going this way. We're still kind of in that direction and we'll just need to at the end of here. But for right now, we're still gonna go in this direction. And I'm kind of going inside, outside, right in the middle, so that there's a little bit of motion, direction, a little bit of difference in layering. And when I do a bunch of them too, I like to kind of slide them in different spots so that the bunny tails are in different varying heights. And then I just pull or snap the stems all at the same spot. Now we are done. Let's go look at it up on the door. I almost said wall. We're putting it on a door. All right, you guys, there you have it. A beautiful, wonderful transitional wreath from winter to midwinter, Valentine's Day, until you're ready to go full on pink. There's a little bit pink in there because I gotta start sneaking it in where I can. You could do any kind of color. I think actually this would be absolutely gorgeous with just cream or just bark flowers. And let all of the color that you're gonna have, the more muted colors, come from the fillers that you use instead of the flowers. But there's so many options, so many stinking fun options. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial from start to finish. We built a wreath basically out of nothing. We built the whole thing together. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a comment down below. Do you do a transitional wreath? I'm a little bit of we'll just say a wreath collector, a wreath maker of sorts. I don't use the same one year after year. I make new ones all the time, as you probably have started to notice after the 4+ years of doing these videos. I like to make wreaths. Do you too? Do you do the transitional ones, or are you strictly like winter, fall, spring, summer? Do you like doing all of the different seasons, all of the different holidays? I just said seasons, I meant holidays. Do you like just a random wreath for a random wreath? I like those too. I do, I really do. They don't have to always be holiday or seasonal based. I like just a good wreath to be a good wreath. So enough about my love of wreaths. Let me know your love or dislike down below. That would be lovely. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and remember to ring that bell so that you're notified every time a new video goes up, which is typically on Wednesdays. Also, if you have not yet checked out the 150 style wood flowers along with craft supplies and greenery that is carried over at ohyourlovely.com, go take a look over there. But before you do, remember that coupon code. Use the code YouTube30 to get 30% off one regular priced order. All right, you guys, I will see you next week for another tutorial. I'm trying to think what is, oh my gosh, the tutorial I have coming up for you guys has been requested for years. And I've never attempted it because it makes me nervous. But we're gonna do it next week, so I hope to see you here, and if not, I will see you at another time. I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, and you, my friends, are absolutely lovely. Bye, guys.